Hello, this is Ludwig from Phasio, and in this video we're going to talk about the why and how behind the new TypeScript pricing editor on the Phasio platform. And I'm going to start with the introduction. Why is this so powerful? Firstly, TypeScript is a full programming language and is very established. There are endless tutorials in the internet. You can just to search for it. Secondly, AI, for example, Claude AI or ChatGPT, they know very well about TypeScript, and you can actually use these tools to get help. And this was rather tricky with the previous system. So the TypeScript system now is a lot more easily accessible for everyone on the platform, specifically for you, because you can build pricing equations that you can test. You can edit them easily, and you have the ability to create multiple versions. So you have one live version and then a couple versions that you're currently working on, for example, because you might want to develop your pricing further. So let's take a look at that. And that brings me to the how part, how to make best use of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our processes, and we see there are already a couple here. And there's a selective laser sintering, which we're going to use for the how. So I'll just click into it, and I see already that there's a version 1 that's live, and let's take a look at that. So we see there's firstly a string up here that's full with a couple comments, right? So it's like, welcome to your TypeScript editor, and you will define your pricing here. And as a general rule, you define your pricing, and then you have to return something in the done function. In this case, we call it the final unit price. And you can also hover over the function, and then you see a description of what this done function actually does. But let's start from the start. Here it says example, and you'll find more examples in the documentation here. But let's look at this example, and I copied it already down here. And on the first 3 lines, this is called destructuring. So we're unpacking information about the specification, information about the revision. And you see in the revision, it says it has a name, there is an accessory file, like all the different accessory files available, repaired and watertight. In this example, we're actually not using any of that. And in the requisition, we find the quantity and also the target lead time. And you'll find also more information in the specification. So if we just start typing out specification, when you type out anything, you actually get type hinting. Let's press enter, press a dot, and you'll see now this is all the information you can take out of this specification. You can have a play with that on your own end. And then we're going through and continuing further down here, line 26, variables are defined through the material schema. So that means for each material, you can actually define values as before, right? In this case, we have the volume price here, and the material variables has only the volume price in there. And if we hit cancel here and go to the materials, this is where we define the material schema. And we could create another variable in here. For example, we could call this area price, hit add, and then when we go into the material, hit edit here, we will find that the area price is 0. We'll just make it 0.2. Hit update, go back into our equation. And now if we hover over material prices, we see that there's also an area price, right? So we could also just add here plus, and we do area divided by 100, for example, times, and then material dot variables dot area price. So you see there are 2 kinds to retrieve those variables, either through the string or through the writing with the dot here. So now our calculated unit price has a volume price and an area price. And you know what? This area price, we're actually going to embed this in a variable. And this variable is something that is new to you. That's new to us as well, of course. In this pricing editor, it was added. And you can just give this here, for example, the name area price. And we will be able to overwrite the value of this area price live when doing the quoting. So let's go ahead and do that. And of course, the final unit price also has a variable, and we can overwrite the unit price because of that. This version is already saved. I hit save. And once this is saved, I can go out of this view, hit cancel here, and you see this equation is marked as live, so it will be available. And you can have multiple equations down here as well, and always choose the one that should be live. But I'm going to choose a customer now. I will go ahead and upload a part. And then I'm going to choose the correct technology, which is our SLS and the material PA12. How we see the price is 39.77. And now the issue is you were never able to understand why is this 39.77 and not 60. But now there's this calculator button and you can click it and you'll actually see those variables that we created. Override unit price, 39.76, and the rounding put it to 77. And we have also the area price here, right? So the default for the area price is 28.7. Say, well, this customer has a lucky day. The area price will only be 10. You see immediately how the unit price also changes. So you get access to the pricing equation and you can make inline changes that immediately reflect on the part. And also this calculates the unit price. So whenever you increase the quantity, the unit price stays the same, which is another powerful addition. And if you're a user like me here that has legacy processes, I have in fact 6 legacy processes, and you want to convert them to TypeScript equations, then you're in the correct video series, because the next few videos will teach you how to do that using AI tools and also using your own knowledge. It's going to be a fun process, and I hope that you tag along. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but stay tuned and watch the next videos. Bye-bye.